Hello, welcome back. I'm here to give you a rundown on ways of presenting content and work to children of different ages. Most of it's going to be aimed at early years and Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, so not Key Stage 2, sorry, early years, Year 1, Year 2, so Key Stage 1. It's definitely from the lower end of the school perspective. There's a lot of different options that you can have to basically tailor it so the approach is just right for your children. And as you see when we go through some of the options, it changes very much between as the children get older, basically, what the best approach is going to be. So if you were listening to me yesterday, welcome back. I'll try and be a little more succinct. There might be some things that we touched on yesterday, but I hope to elaborate a little bit more on just the specifics of the stream for delivering content versus the work tab for delivering content. So let me get rid of this bit. So, okay, and take you over to the classroom. Okay, let me just double check that that's what we're seeing. Yes. So here we've got the demonstration classroom. And I've had approval and clearance to show some of the classes that I actually teach and some of my colleagues teach. And so you can see real live examples. Of course, there's GDPR to consider, and so you won't actually see the children's names. But you will get a very good feeling of some of the challenges and solutions that are available. So what am I talking about? Well, here you can see up at the top, you've got the stream. I hope that's highlighted for you. And classwork, the stream tab and the classwork tab. So that's what I'm talking about when I say stream tab, classwork tab. So like I've explained previously, the stream tab can be used as, well, let's see what we got here. This is only a demonstration one. Here it's being used to demonstrate, here it's been used to present messages. So it's more like a message board in a way. When I use it, I'll be saying at the start of the week, hello, children, I'm in class this week. At the moment, it's the lockdown, of course, so most children are at home. I hope you're getting on with your activities okay. Here's a video of the tadpoles and how they've grown. Please leave a comment, something like that. Or here's a great YouTube video for fitness. Tell me how you get on. So that's how I use this bit. Other classes use the stream tab as a way of delivering content. So it's like, as I said, it's like a blog. So every time you want a child to do something, it appears in their stream. So daily there'll be little bits appearing in the stream along with messages, but it's much more of a live tool for delivering the work. So over here on classwork, this is where the work that you want the children to do resides. Even if you're using stream to deliver work, and I shall explain more about that, the work still lives within the classwork tab, and that's where you put it and you organize it. So the options are, let's start with the classwork tab. If you want your classwork tab to, let's think about early years. We'll get work from the bottom and we'll work up, or youngest and work older. Children struggle with the mass of work that they see, and frankly, the teachers not teachers, that'd be funny. The parents would struggle with the mass of work too, and they do. And that's why we've seen engagement with Google Classroom can be pretty low in early years, frankly. If you're getting half of the families actively engaging with Google Classroom, you're doing well. And by year 1, we have got active engagement after a month up to about 3/4. In year 2, I don't have the figures, but it gets higher until further up school in Key Stage 2. You'd be calling them up and saying, why have you not given me some work on Google Classroom? Or you'd expect pretty much everybody to be engaging in Key Stage 2. So the way you deliver work, of course, has to be quite different. So I am going to go live to have a look at an early years setup. Okay, there we go. And we're going to go into the stream. Right, so here we're in an early years class setup in Google Classroom, and this class, or this unit, early years unit, I think handle it very well. Listen, they're exemplary, which is why I'm sharing them with you. Basically what they do is they just feed the children and the families a little bit every day, and it comes through on the stream. So again, you can see up here, it's the stream, and each day something will appear here. So you can see it's dated, it's in little bite-sized chunks, and that, frankly, is what you need when you've got really young children. Otherwise, you just won't get the uptake. Okay, let's move down a little bit more. They do this beautifully. They've got on each day, they've got a, I can't really open it up, I'm afraid, because I don't know what children's names will be in the comments. But from here, you can see that they plan it for each day. They have a plan with the activities, with their literacy, with their maths, and a few extra bits and pieces, with a nice message from the teacher. And to keep the workload fair, I think they share it between them. You do a day, I do a day, you do a day, I do a day, that sort of thing. So there we go. And there's each day as well, there's a video of a teacher reading a story, which I think is amazing. It's absolutely what you want to do. And it isn't too hard. It really isn't. You just have to get your head around it. Once teachers are bought into it, it works really well. Let's go down a little bit more. A mindfulness activity. And so these are little extra bits that go in that teachers think is appropriate for that day. But really what I'm showing you is the fact that they're feeding the children this, or the parents and the children, piecemeal. Okay. Here's something that I put in. This is a whole class message, not whole class, a whole school message. So this went into every classroom in the school because we've developed a brand new classroom where every child has access and every teacher has access. So close on 1,000 people have access to this one classroom, and it's all about stories. So that's I will do a webinar or a live stream on that, but not now. Let's keep it focused. Anyway, you can see what we're talking about by feeding little bits piecemeal. And a rather fabulous feature is saved announcements. So let's have a look what they've got in here. This means all you have to do is load it up, load Google Classroom up with all your planning, and then you tell it what day you'd like it to release that bit of plan. So you only have to think about this really once a week for the main bulk of the planning. Obviously, you need to tailor it each day with a little extra bit here and there, but the main planning will come automatically by itself, will go live once every day. That's where they've set it up. I think that's a really clever way of doing it, which is why I'm sharing it with you. Okay, but this is the Nightingale setup, the early years setup. Let's have a little look in classwork. So the stream is where it's presented and messages are presented, but it actually resides within classwork. There we are. Now, another really clever setup that this early years team have done is they are giving you it. Don't worry about the grey bits. So we're going to skip that. They are giving it you week by week. So the daily goes into the stream, and that's set up very cleverly. But because classwork can get cluttered unless you have some sort of organizational think through, and each one that I'll show now has a different organizational think through. I'm sure that's the technical term. But because you don't have subfolders in Google, you have to have some structure that you put together by these headings. The headings are called topics. And if you look into previous and some of the other videos, you'll see how to create those. That's very simple. But these are effectively your subfolders. So there, they've put the whole week, they put all of it into one. Let's have a look. No, we don't want to see that. There we go. Here. So the whole of the week, all of the planning, because I told you they do it by day onto a sheet, one sheet with all the days planning for all the subjects. And here you can see all of the different days in one place. Now it's a little extra work to do it that way, but it keeps it much cleaner. Because if you can imagine, say we've been doing this for about 6 weeks. Well, you can see here week 7 weeks. I'll make that go away. Can you close up for me? Yes. There's going to be, imagine all of those bits of work posted all in one place for 7 weeks. you have got hundreds and hundreds of bits of work, and it just goes down and down. But this early years team have condensed it into 1 week, into one post. So I think that's a great way of doing it, but it's just a little bit more work. So that's an exemplar of how to feed work to your families or your children in an early years setting. Right, let's go over. So now I'm going over to year 1, and we do things very differently in year 1. Okay, so as I'm talking, the main idea of the stream is to discuss the difference between stream. The main idea in this conversation that I'm having with you is to focus on the stream and the classwork, because I think by having this, if someone had talked to me like this when I was setting up, it would have just made life a bit more straightforward. Okay, so our stream. In our stream, and I'm afraid I can't show you for GDPR reasons, in our stream you can, what can I say? It's just for messages. In fact, let's go over to the TCAT demo classroom. Okay, and stream. Okay, so I do not use it to deliver work. I use this as a message board to build engagement. Again, yesterday I went to great lengths explaining about how engagement is so important, especially at the moment, because doing work from home is a new thing. Parents are trying their best, but it's hard. It's hard, and especially down in the younger children, they need it. The parents are having to do the vast majority of the work and build their own online skills. So where I'm heading with that is that you try and build engagement, and the way we do that is we get people to comment, send us photos as part of the work assignments that we give, input pictures so that everyone can see in the whole class, or it can be seen privately as a chat, in a private chat. And again, I went through that yesterday. But here's a random one that I put in. I'm thinking of you at this difficult time. Please leave a comment. It's very random. It's just for an example. And here I can see that a student has replied, a fake student. In fact, it's one I just did earlier. So this can also be, I have it set up, and you don't have to have it this way, but I've set it up so students can put their own things up there as well. So this morning I had a child celebrating some work that they did, finding out about their family. I mean, I'm blown away by it, frankly. I think their parents are really getting into it, but it shows the engagement is happening. So the task was find out more about your family, and they presented it. They built it into a PowerPoint or something lovely, put some music behind it, far more than I'd asked for, but now they put it up for the whole class to see and the whole class to comment on. If you don't want that, you can switch the comments off, or you can switch it off so children can't make comments or can't post. It's very easy to do, but I like that. That's what I'm wanting. So let's go over to here. So as I said, stream here for our year 1s is more about engagement and sending messages. Okay, let's look at classwork, because then you start to get a better understanding. Okay, I want to go to my classwork. So we're in the demonstration at the moment, but if I go to my live class, go over to classwork, we should see something better. Okay, so the way we've got it set up, and again, everybody's different, but it works best for us. So in early years, if you think it has to be piecemeal, bit by bit, but for year 1, we found it works better to break it into 3 chunks and present it as a week. And then the keen beans can get busy at doing as much as they want, as fast as they want. And it just means it's all in one place. So they always know they're going to dip into this bit. We've got latest, which is basically foundation and anything else. No, it's not. I apologize. Latest is just a good place for sticking things that's general. It's like a general topic. But you can call it what you want and put whatever you want in it. Then I've got a dated week, and in there we've got foundation type things. So PE, mindfulness, learning grids, VE day activities, that sort of thing. And because this week that I'm showing you here is quite a small week with a bank holiday and VE celebrations, there's not a whole lot in here, but usually that'd be a little bit bigger. And okay, just hold fire on telling you all the interesting things for a moment. Here we've got just the literacy for the week. Looks like we've lost one, not sure why. And we've got the maths for the week. So children know where to go and pick up their things from. Interestingly, the way we handle it is at the moment, there's one teacher just focuses on maths, one teacher focuses on literacy, and one teacher focuses on everything else. Now, just in case you're wondering, well, does this actually work? Hot off the press is a school survey, and from the parents that replied, of which there were quite a lot, it pretty much does work. I think, ironically, there's a few people complaining there's too much work, and there's a few people complaining there's too little work. And there's a few people complaining that their children can't engage with a computer, and then there's lots of people saying that their children are struggling generally. And that's got nothing to do with Google Classroom. But it does show you that it's about right. It's pitched about right. So as I say, you can see it week by week. Okay. There's a phonics section. So you don't have subfolders, but you do have these topic headings. You just have to think how you're going to do it. Okay, so that's a few ideas. Maybe we could just go into one to see what it looks like. Okay. And again, in a previous stream, I've explained all about assignments versus material. So what you create and how it behaves. So you can just create something that just stays there, like it's called a material. So counting, that looks like it's just a material. Yes, nothing's going to happen there. You just pull it up, you do it, you don't have to respond. You could always put a class comment in, but it's something you go off and do by yourself. There's no further interaction required with the teacher, unless you want to comment. But an assignment, there'll be a lot more interaction with the teacher. So they go off to the children's individual working space. That's what I call it. It just means it's a private area that the child can then communicate with you. Private comments that not everybody can see, and they can upload their work. A photograph is usually the way, which again you can see, and we've done that in a different stream. Or if they're feeling brave, then they can comment on it. I could do a class comment for everyone to see, but that doesn't happen very much, to be fair. Okay, so early years, as I said, was day by day. Year one is in weekly chunks. And actually, you don't have to have it in weekly chunks like this. If we look at the demonstration one, this has been set up, I would suggest, in a more year two or key stage 2 style. So here, instead of having it coming through the stream, they're having it come through the classroom. And in this one, the classroom is set up day by day. And because you've got quite a lot of different things and some quite complex things, it works well. Whoever set this up has been thinking, right, we've got a bunch of things that have to be delivered on this day, and then the children can just pick it up here. But if you think how many days there are so far, we're on week 7. Can't do the maths in my head, but it's going to be at least 30 of these sections, and it will get very, very, very long. So I don't know how to archive. Maybe there is a special way, but you will find that it gets a little bit crazy if you're not careful. So doing it that way, you'd have to have a little think about what you're going to do with stuff, say, after a month, because you'll have at least 30. Well, you won't have 30, but you will get a lot. Okay. On the side here, it's a quick way of finding things, which is very handy. So it jumps to it. And I am going to use that to jump down to the last way of setting up your classwork. I don't want to keep banging on. You know about early years, you know how year 1 have set it up. Year 2 are setting it up in the classwork tab day by day. So week 1 did it by week. And year 2 have done it day by day, if this is a year 2 class. But you don't have to have it like that. So I'm going to click at the bottom here where it says garden birds. You to close up for me. No. All right. Sorry, let me just go back. Go to classwork again. It'd be easier if I zoom down there because I don't want things to open up. I just want to display the structure. So here you can see garden birds and you can see science. So another way to do it is to do it by subject. So instead of doing it by week, you could do it by subject, and then you could put everything you want about, maybe you've got a topic for the week or even a topic for the month, or half term. You can put that in there. So maybe this week there's a garden bird topic, and there's all the different things that can go in there, all the science things that can go in there. And then you'd have to think how you would expect children to do that work. But I'm sure there's clever ways of doing it further up the school. All you have to do is set due dates, and then that would become clear on the children's, when the children open up and see, and they can see what needs to happen, and they can pick and choose, and they'll know what needs to be done by when. But to say that doesn't work for year 1 and year 2. Okay. I'm sorry I can't take this call at the moment. I'm live. I'll call you back. Okay. How embarrassing. Let's move up. I want to show you what it looks like from a child's perspective. So just get my head around where we are. Okay, we're in the demonstration classroom. We're in the stream. So I'm going to put something in the stream and we're going to see what it looks like from a child's perspective, because it does look different. Once you've had a go at this, and again, like last time, I can't recommend Google Classroom highly enough. All right. I mean, it is not the world's best software, but it's pretty good. And I've seen quite a lot of software. I've only been using it for a month or two, and it certainly has the capacity to do what we need as educators, especially in this tricky lockdown situation. But also it's free. I mean, you really can't complain. You know, it's very good. And that's why I agreed to talk to people online. So I got lost in my fervor for a moment there. Ah, yes. So I'm going to, let's get out of that for a moment. Can you cancel? Okay. Here we are in the demonstration classroom. I'm on the stream and I'm going to just stick something random in there just for the demonstration purpose. Okay. Let's get, so I'm going to share with my class something random. Computer, don't dial me. Okay. Have you been eating fruit? Maybe you can tell me your favorite. This is just a random demonstration. Okay. So I'm going to post that up. Right, I'm logged in as Mr. Jensen, fake teacher. Here you can see what it looks like. This will go through to everybody's stream in this class. Also, it sends them an email. Very, very useful feature, all the emails from Google, because it just makes it, you don't miss comments. There's so much going on that it's easy to miss comments. But every time somebody makes a comment, if it's a colleague or a child, it sends you an email if you want that. And you can tailor that quite effectively within the settings on the left-hand side. Again, in my previous stream, I went into that in detail. So there you can see I've set it up, and now I'm going to go over, hold your breath, and see what we look like from the child's perspective. So over here in people, first of all, you can see these are the teachers and these are the children. In this classroom, it's all fake. Okay. Now I'm going to look, I've logged in as Annabelle in a class I prepared earlier. So this is what Annabelle, it looks like for Annabelle when she logs in. Here's her stream. And you can see that, oh no, okay, I need to refresh it because this is an old post. Okay, so we should see that stream post coming through onto Annabelle's stream. There you go. You can see. Thank goodness for that. Have you been eating fruit this week? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I think you should find this interesting, because if you know what the children are seeing and the parents are seeing, it makes life so much easier to explain it. So let's put a comment in, and then you should be able to see. Oh no, before I do that, let's just check to see whether Annabelle got an email to say that I'd put something in the stream. Okay, let me refresh this. She might or she might not. It's been a bit tricky today. Or maybe she has to set that bit up herself. I don't know. Let's find out. Yes. So there, have you been eating your fruit? Okay. So that's when I put something in the stream, everybody in the class gets an email. Some families like to use that as the way of working out what they need to do. Being a little bit scared about logging into Google Classroom, they just follow the emails and click. I would not recommend to do it that way, but it's one way of doing it. You can always click that button and that would take you straight through to the right place. Okay, so you've seen I made this post. It came through into her stream. It sent her an email. Let's get back to her, what it looks like from her perspective, unless she adds a comment. Thank you, Benson. I love our. Okay, this is just a random comment. Especially if anyone worked in earliers, you know, you get random comments that don't necessarily mean answer what you've asked, but that's fine. So when I press this, from her perspective, well, let's have a look. I'll press this. Now that should now appear in the class comments and for everyone to see. So that's there for everyone to see from a teacher's perspective, and also from everyone's perspective. It's all the same. So you can see the class comments. What that should do is email me as the class teacher to say that there's a comment on there. And I say that's handy because you can get comments all throughout the stream, comments all throughout classwork, and you get comments, private comments, all throughout assigned work, which doesn't sit nicely like this. So the email stream is very handy for keeping tabs on not missing people's comments. So let's go back. So here's the teacher. This is logged in as the teacher, Mr. Jensen. Everything's like it was before, and you can see here her comment has come on as well. I do like the way, and I don't know how it works, but I do like the way Google updates the screen when something happens. It's a bit like Gmail. When you get an email, it's usually there. You don't have to refresh it. Sometimes you do, but mostly you don't. So you can see this came up by itself. Okay, now I want to prove that I got an email. I hope I'm not boring you, but I find the nuts and bolts of this sort of thing very handy. Let's go on to here. So this will need refreshing. So this is Mr. Jensen's email. That's an old email, you can see. Let's refresh. And he should get a message from Annabelle to say blah, 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 oranges. Annabella. There we go. Okay, we don't need to go back to that to see what I was thinking. So I proved that that works. Whew. Is there anything else to show you? No, I don't think so. I think we've explained the 4 different approaches. Yeah, so I'll, in short, the way we handle it at the lower end of the school, early years use the stream to deliver. For you, early years, and just get that out of the way. So in summary, early years use the stream to deliver bit by bit daily announcements with all the planning in it that have been saved, scheduled to just open up once a day. And on top of that, they do live announcements of interesting things that they think are relevant. Year 1 use the, oh, and that's right, and just to say that in the classwork, they keep it nice and simple. They've shrunk everything down, so they put all of the whole week's planning into one post so that you can find it easily. Because as we talked about before, it can build up. There are no subfolders. Year 1, we use the stream as a method of saying hello to the children, contacting the children, very much like I just demonstrated, in class comments, children to upload pictures, celebrating who's done what well, videos, do quite a lot of videos of ourselves so they can remember who we are, and they like that a lot and that engages them. And in the classwork, we put all the content that we want them to deal with, but work through into 3 sections: literacy, maths, and everything else. And that is by week. Okay, and year 2, and this is a demonstration classroom, but that's pretty much the way it works in year 2 as well, is that they do it by day. They put everything in, throw it all in under the heading of the date. This is quite a good way for easily finding what you have to do, but you will find that you end up with a lot of topics. So every day will appear with a chunk of work, and as I say, there's no subfolders, so going down, there will be a lot of these. So unless there's a way of archiving that I haven't come across, you just have to think about an endless blog of this stuff. That's not a problem because it's all very neatly laid out, but it is something to consider. And finally, further up the school, and I'm not an expert in this area, but you get further up the school, you can, I'll just get back to it. People do it by topic. So you've got your science and everything about the science, and that'll have due dates on it. And so it'll operate in a different way, and the children will have their own calendar or something similar that will give them an update on what needs to come in for when. And so they can do a bit of science ahead if they want, but they know they have to do this bit by this time. So let me go over and see if there have been any questions. No comments. That's fine. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a pleasure to explain things to you. And I hope to do some more of these webinars at a later date. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck. I can't recommend it enough. And that's all from TCAT. Bye-bye.